We finally made it to our travel goal of Cabo, Mexico after a week of learning to surf in Todos Santos.
We've been traveling Baja Mexico for an entire month, and this video is going to be all about us reaching our travel goal, but
the weather was not on our side for snorkeling.
So instead, we're going to answer all the top questions about Baja and then end this video with our new travel goal. So let's start out with the number one question, safety. Before coming down here, we told all of our friends and family, and the number one thing they said was, be safe.
Everyone wanted to know, is it safe? How do you feel? And to be honest, I was pretty nervous just because coming from America, the news about Mexico is not always that great, and I had my concerns. And one of those concerns was just, do we want to do this alone? And we already had our friends Shane and Ross that also wanted to go down in Baja, so it was like a really perfect fit for us and made us feel like extra safe going down. And we kind of planned our whole trip around safety.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's funny because when we got over the border and within a couple days, we felt extremely safe. And our whole time we were in Baja, we have felt really, really safe.
Yeah. I feel like kind of silly now for even thinking it may be unsafe just because of how many van lifers there are, or RVs and rigs. Honestly, way more than we've seen in our whole 10 months of travel so far, and it's a lot more Americanized than you think.
Borders. So which border crossing did we choose? We chose Mexicali. There's a few different border crossings that you can choose, like Tijuana, Mexicali East, Mexicali West. The reason why we chose Mexicali East is because it seemed like it would be the easiest border crossing for us and probably the safest. And it also put us on the east side of the Baja Peninsula, where there's a lot of cool things on the way that we really wanted to hit. So you could go to Tijuana and cross there, but eventually you'd probably want to cross over the Baja Peninsula to the east anyway, and it just seemed like it was a good fit and a safer, easier route.
Next question, what kind of paperwork and documentation do you need? Number one is your passport. Number two, FMM paperwork.
So when you cross the border, they didn't even check our passports initially, which was interesting to me. Whereas you cross the border, there's a couple different offices to the right, but if you haven't done the border crossing there before, you wouldn't really even know. And I know there's a ton of people that have gone through there, and they go all the way down to Baja Sur, and still never got their FMM, and then have to turn around and go back to go get that. So just make sure that you take the time to find those offices and just ask people, do your best, even if your Spanish is not very good, to just try to ask FMM, and they'll point you in the right direction. It doesn't take that long. You can do it online, but I would suggest just doing it there because you have to go there anyway to get your thing stamped. We did it online, and then we forgot to print out the receipt, and then she was like, well, you have to buy it again because you don't have the receipt of purchase. So anyway, go there, get it done. You can do it all at the border crossing. It's easy peasy.
So the last thing you need is auto insurance. So legally you only need liability insurance, and we went through Lewis & Lewis to get ours. It was about $130.
So we decided not to go with full coverage because our current provider, Progressive, will cover anything that happens in Mexico if you can get the vehicle back across into the United States border. We also have CoachNet, which is a towing provider that will tow you anywhere in the United States for free. But outside of the United States, they still give you $1,000 towards your towing. So fingers crossed, if we have to, we get it towed, so be it, but not thinking like that.
Next question, do you need pesos before crossing the border?
Yes, you should get pesos before crossing the border, just to play it safe, because when you go to the FMM, they do not take credit card. So you'll need pesos just to purchase that, which was around like $30 to $32 in USD, but you have to pay them in pesos. So you should probably have it.
But once you are here, there are a ton of ATMs, and it's easy to pull out money once you're already here and paid for your FMM. Some of the grocery stores and restaurants do take credit card, but definitely have pesos on you and keep it in a safe spot because a majority of the places don't take credit card. Next question, where do you camp?
So if you're coming down to Baja, your only guide needs to be iOverlander.
Yes.
It has all the information that you need for paid campsites, free campsites, everything in between. If you want to pay for campsites, it's anywhere from $5 to like $15, maybe $20 if you want to get real bougie. But for the most part, there's so many free campsites, and the majority of the time, that's what we did. We really only paid for a campsite like one night a week just to get laundry, a shower in,
water.
Yeah, it was great. And they had Wi-Fi so we could upload videos, and that made all the difference.
Yeah.
But then we had free campsites that were all to ourselves on the beach or with our friends. It was amazing. It's a really great resource, iOverlander. So where do we get our water, Lisa?
So there's water purification centers all over Baja. You can just find them on iOverlander. It's super cheap. I think it costs us around $3 to fill up our whole tank, which is 21 gallons.
You don't want that Montezuma's revenge, if you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
Another thing that's different is not a lot of places have hoses for you to connect like you would in the United States. So you might have to get a little crafty with how you fill up your water tank. For us, we do have a pump that we can fill with our hose and siphon water. If you have a gravity fill, you might just need to get a jug and fill up the jug, pour it in. But some places do have hoses that you can hook up, so it's just a matter of asking and looking around. But you have to get a little bit crafty. It's not the same as the US.
Most of the paid campsites do have water, but we didn't wind up using it because it's not purified and we wanted to be able to drink out of our tap, and the purified water here is pretty cheap. So that's what we did. Next question. Do you need to speak Spanish fares?
Not necessarily, but you should try. My Spanish is not the greatest. 5 pesos más para but I continue trying, always coming with a smile, because they just appreciate you trying, and it does help.
¿Cómo se llama? No. No.
And plus, like, if you keep on trying to speak Spanish, your Spanish will eventually get better. And in this month, my Spanish has definitely gotten a lot better. And I've remembered all those little vocab words from my high school Spanish classes. But that being said, I'm still not the greatest, so don't worry. If you don't know any Spanish, you still definitely can get through the country with no problems.
Next question. So what's the situation with diesel and gas in Baja?
So if you have a vehicle with gas, you have no problems. If you have a vehicle with diesel, like us, you may have some questions that come up. The diesel quality, DEF fluid, and emissions, and things like that. Since we have a new Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, it does take an ultra low sulfur diesel, and the question's always been like, does Mexico have that? And from the research that we've looked at, Mexico in Baja definitely has low sulfur diesel, so it doesn't seem to be a problem. There's so many vans going down each year that haven't had an issue at all, so I don't think it's a problem. And DEF fluid is available. You might not be able to find it as easy, but there's a ton of auto zones in Baja, so you can go in there, ask for it. If it's not on the shelf, they went back in the back and found exactly what I needed. So if you dive deep into diesel quality, it seems like in Baja, they've definitely figured out the diesel quality because there's so many people coming down each year. If you want to be ultra safe, go with the brands like Chevron, Arco, or any like American or foreign name. They tend to import their diesel, but we did go to Pemex, which is like the national brand for Mexico, and we haven't had any issues. So Lisa, what's the grocery situation in Mexico, and how does it compare to the United States?
In smaller towns like Mulegé, you had little markets, but once you got to La Paz and Cabo, you had your Walmarts and Costco's. I would say it's about a 20% cost reduction overall. But I will say they have their specialty markets like a fish market, a fruit market, a tortilleria. Definitely check those out because it seems way more fresh and way more yummy.
So what's the cell service like in Mexico?
So I have T-Mobile and Ferris has Verizon. The van has an AT&T hotspot. T-Mobile has unlimited data, Ferris has limited data, and the AT&T hotspot is limited. But we've been able to make through this entire time. A lot of the spots also have Wi-Fi, so that's helped out. And the major cities do have service. It's all pretty much run on Telcel, but if you are looking to work full-time, I would recommend going into a Telcel shop and maybe buying a hotspot.
We don't necessarily need to have cell service every single day. We just need it for like 2 to 3 times a week so that we can upload and download different things. But if you absolutely need it, go with Telcel. people that we know that work full time have been using Telcel and getting
Yeah.
hotspots, and it's been great. And it seems like it's a non-issue for full-time workers in their vans.
Yeah, and if you know you're going to a spot, check iOverlander. They always say if there's service there. Ferris, what were your favorite things to do in Baja, and what do you regret not doing?
I think one of my favorite things was just being able to like be on the beach, open up the van, enjoy the van with your friends, and have the water right there. It's kind of amazing. Like there's no places in the United States where you can just like open up your van and be on the water for free.
No.
So that's pretty amazing. Another thing was just like being able to surf or learn how to surf and then play with the little turtles and
the
see
little turtles
them.
in Todos Santos were so cute.
That was pretty awesome. One of the things that I regret is that we didn't go see any of the whales, which is definitely a big thing that you should do and something that we want to do the next time we come to Baja. And then there's also whale sharks that you can go swimming with that people did, and it looked amazing.
Yeah.
So those are two things that we would do next time we're in Baja.
My favorite thing was the hike from Tecolote Beach, just outside of La Paz, to Balandra, because if you go through the water, there's a bunch of colorful fish. It's just absolutely beautiful, and that was my top thing to do. Also, yeah, the little turtles were super cute.
Yeah, Balandra is one of the best beaches in all of Baja, maybe in all of Mexico. It's a beautiful beach and a must-see thing that you do if you go down into Baja.
So if you're coming to Baja, you may be wondering, where do I go? So Ferris, what is a general itinerary?
So I won't go into a highly descriptive itinerary of what we did, but I will give you some general tips and places that we really enjoyed. So most of the time when people cross the border, they kind of just head south as fast as possible. There's not that many things in Baja Norte. I'm sure there's a few things, but it's definitely colder weather up there. So we shot down as quickly as possible. There's a place called Papa Fernandez that was a quick stop after 4 hours past the border. That was a great stop. It was $5, and then we continued farther south. And then the real big first stop that we enjoyed was Mulegé. It was a small town with beautiful vibes. It was a really nice, like refreshing, like just got us in the vibe of being in Baja and the people and what to expect and
Culture.
We really enjoyed it, and it wasn't overwhelming because it wasn't that big of a town. Only 20 minutes south of Mulegé is the Bahia de Concepcion, which is the Bay of Conception, and it's your first glimpse of like beautiful beaches that you have to stop at. And there's so many beaches along that bay that you really won't go wrong. Everyone had their favorite one, and they're like, this is my favorite, this is my favorite. So just pick one that seems best for you, and you probably will have a good time, and you'll be like, how long do I want to stay here?
Yeah.
And really what pushed us to go forward is that we knew we had so many more things to do, but we probably could have stayed for another week.
Yeah,
Easy.
We actually got to see bioluminescence there, which is crazy, and I didn't even know it existed, but it's pretty cool.
For us, after Bahia de Concepcion, there wasn't that many places on our radar that we wanted to go to, so we kind of just went down to La Paz. But after thinking, there's a lot of whale watching in between, and Magdalena Bay is known for having some of the most amazing whale watching during that time of February, January, and March. So if you come down, maybe don't just rush to La Paz and see some of those whales. But speaking of La Paz is the capital of Baja Sur, and it's a really cool town. It has this Melicon, which is a boardwalk or just walkway all along the water, with so many different things to do. People were skateboarding,
Riding
they
their
were riding their bikes,
bikes,
playing volleyball, doing all kinds of cool stuff with restaurants all over. It's a beautiful town, and near La Paz, only 20 minutes from La Paz, is where all of the beautiful, probably the best beaches.
My favorite beaches by far.
Yeah. So we mentioned them before, Balandra Beach, Tecolote Beach. You can camp on Tecolote for free, and people do for a long time,
Yeah,
it
like
seems
weeks at a time.
And but it was really refreshing, just kind of have like a beautiful spot.
Yeah.
And that was also where the van meetup was,
Just
which
super
we
fun.
really enjoyed,
Yeah.
and met a ton of great people there. So we can't wait to do that again. Like they're doing it next year again in February 3rd to 6th. So if you're into something like that, be sure to look it up. Escapar a la Baja, and it's done by the Journal of Lost Time. So definitely something that you should do if you're coming down here in the right time period.
After La Paz, there's a loop that covers the whole South Peninsula. And so we went to La Ventana, which is kind of like the kite capital. And it's just super windy. It's the perfect wind for kiteboarding. So it's an amazing view just to watch all these people out on the ocean.
Hundreds.
It's pretty incredible. Yeah. Hundreds of people. It's kind of crazy. We wound up staying on a beach that had hot springs. You get to kind of like dig up these rocks and make up your own hot springs. It was really, really cool. Another great spot on the loop is probably one of our favorite spots, which is Todos Santos. We wound up staying on Cerritos Beach, which is a beginner surfer beach, and Ferris learned to surf for an entire week.
So much fun. And then north of Todos Santos, maybe like 10 minutes, is La Pastora, another free beach that you can stay on that's just beautiful. And Todos Santos itself just has so much to do. It's definitely more touristy, but there's a lot of different things that you can get yourself into, and a lot of people congregate there, and you can meet a lot of great people, and we really had a good time. It felt easy, it felt fun.
Super
it was
fun.
like, open up your door to a beautiful beach, go surf, enjoy yourself.
That's where we did the turtles too.
Kind of more vacation-y style than adventure.
Yep. And we finally made it to our travel goal of Canada to Cabo, Mexico. Cabo San Lucas is a little bit more resorty, a little bit more touristy, so we pretty much just drove through and made it to Cabo Pomo, which is supposed to have amazing snorkeling and diving, and that's where we are now.
And as you saw, all we've had is wind. But it's okay, because as we have been sitting here, we've come up with a new travel goal. It just didn't feel right when we ended in Cabo. We've been enjoying this so much, and it felt like it was the first time where we've been like really enjoying ourselves, getting the international travel that we've been craving, and feeling like kind of like back to normal a little bit of what our goal was before we even got in the van, which was to travel internationally, try to learn a new language, eat different food, see different culture, and Baja has definitely been a step in the right direction.
Yes.
So, it's only natural that we cross into the mainland, the main part of Mexico, and take the ferry. But how far south did we go?
So our new travel goal is Canada to Central America.
So since we have our new travel goal, let's wrap up this video and give you our overall feelings of Baja Mexico.
So if you're considering go to Baja, go to Baja. It's freaking amazing. It's
Do it.
incredible.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it. Cost-wise, I would say it's probably about 20% less than the US. It's not super cheap, but it's cheaper.
You definitely can spend money if you want to spend money.
Always.
Let's just say that.
Always.
Don't be nervous. We actually felt safer here than in a lot of American cities that we've been to. So if your concern is safety, maybe find someone else that you can go with to ease that nervousness, but you could do it alone. We saw single females go alone, single males,
tons of dogs,
really old people, really young people, all kinds of different people that are coming from the United States, coming from Canada, that are down here in Baja. We have met more great people here in Baja than we've had in the last 10 months of our van life.
Yeah.
So that being said, I think it's kind of a magical place.
Amazing place.
So if you do decide to come down here, I guarantee you'll have one or two more relationships that you didn't have before you came down. And that to us has been the difference maker. And it really made this past year of van life so worth it. And it's ignited some flames for us to keep on going and keep on exploring.
All the way down to Central America.
Keep on doing this. So that being said, give us a like, be a subscriber, because we keep coming back. We love making videos, and we appreciate all of you guys that have followed us. I think this is video 51, maybe 52? 51? 51?
51.
I can't believe we even have 51 videos. Alright, that's enough. See you later.
In our next video, we take Tina and the crew on an overnight cargo ferry from La Paz, Baja to Mazatlan, mainland Mexico to start off our newly amended travel goal of Canada to Central America. Let's just say things got a little claustrophobic.